Hello there, and welcome to my video about how I made the Red Day video. I've not really made a lot of making of videos, but this took a lot of time and was a lot of fun to make. But I feel like I want to dissect it and just talk about it because it took a lot of time to make. So, I'll just explain what went into each shot, more or less, So we got the opening, which is in my bedroom. Me kind of waking up. As you can see on the sidebar here, you can see all the effects. Basically just changing the color, limiting the color. There are more effects here than are necessary because I kept kind of changing my mind. Like first it was just kind of like this, then I wanted it to be a little stronger. I added more tint. My face was a weird color originally. Yeah, it came out way too red. Actually, this was one of the first shots I took with this camera. It was a new camera, so I didn't have the settings exactly right for this shot, but it doesn't really matter. It is fine at this point. Next. So here, this is all real. Let's see if I can isolate. No. I kind of cut things up. I do this a lot. Okay, so this is the actual shot. So there's a real, just hastily printed calendar thing. And I cut out the calendar to give it its own kind of light source and its own source of color. Yeah, here it is. So it stands out a bit. And everything else is a bit faded. Zoom in, and I have this nice shine effect. With a halo. Stand out even more. Next scene, I add color. I start out very discolored. It's pretty much the same as it was back in the waking up shot. Well, maybe a little more discolored, but the whole point is that contrast. This, I'm not very happy about the color because these are actually shot on 2 different days. The sky was actually blue this day, and this day it was cloudy. However, I like this shot, this angle better. I could have gotten rid of the sky and made it cloudy, but obviously you can see that it's sunny. And here it's not very clearly sunny, but whatever, I like the shot better. I really should have just reshot both of them, but whatever. This scene it's kind of a funny story how I settled on the scene. So this is not one of the last, but I had waited around for the shot. I said from the rising to setting of sun. And I kept wondering where's one place I could go that I could kind of get an idea of the sunrise and the sunset. I didn't really know how to express that in one shot very clearly. I could have had a fake sun going across the skyline or something. And during the middle of the day, with a friend, I wanted me wearing the costume on this hill. And then I thought I bet the sun at sunset would go down somewhere over here and you could get a good view of it. So the next day I came back around sunset and can we see the whole thing? No. There we go. I'll explain what's going on with all these layers in a sec, but there I am. So there's the whole scene, more or less. So, and then the following day I came back around 8 in the morning. However, there are a bunch of trees over here and the sun comes up from behind the trees. So they were casting a lot of shadows and it didn't look so good. So it was was cool that morning, but not too cold. So I literally just sat on the hill for 2 hours waiting for a lot of the shadows to go away. So it's not sunrise, but there's still clearly a sky contrast and a shadow contrast that looks good. For a lot of this video, I tried to remove people because I wanted it to have like some sort of fantasy. So, where is it? So as you saw before, there are people all along this path. And I got rid of them by adding extra layers. There's one. There's one. Just stills where there were no people. Because also when I'm kind of just not moving that much in the center and people are walking, your eye is led by the moving figures. So I wanted as few distracting elements as possible. But I really like how this looks. It came together well. Oh, as for a friend asked, how did I get the exact same angle? I left a little stick in the center of where my tripod was. And I guess I found that exact position the next day. Technically, people aren't supposed to come up here because of this little roped off thing, but I saw other people up here, so I thought it was fair game. And while I was up here, other people didn't venture up here, but nobody stopped me, so it was pretty perfect. Next scene, we have me looking out at sunset. I guess I didn't quite, the sun is this big, bright blur. I should have done something different, maybe used a filter, but whatever, you get the point. Basically same time, same whatever. Now this scene, this was fun. I filmed this at like 8 in the morning on a few... I went up one day and I didn't quite get the timing right of where the sun was. Because this building... How do I explain this? One good thing about this building is that this whatever concrete thing, there is a ledge over here, but the concrete thing on that angle, it looks as if there's no ledge, and I wanted to get as much of the city behind me as possible. And the sun, so there's kind of like an overhang part in front of me, which is literally where I positioned the camera. It has these weird I don't know what else you would call them. They're not like actually shelves. People don't put stuff on them, but they look exactly like shelves. So I put the camera on that. But there's an overhead part where if it's too early, it blocks the sun. But whatever this time was kind of perfect because maybe the sun's not hitting me directly on. It's coming at like a 40 degree angle or something. But, it looks nice enough to be realistic. It was realistic. I literally did wear this costume up on the roof on some Saturday morning. I added the logo, the words in the background, and I cut it around so it looks as if it's kind of behind the city. I thought that would look cool. Where is that? Yep, see, you can see I cut it out. Also behind me. Just a bunch of masking. Now, a couple things. So I transform. This was tricky because I had to stand in the exact same spot. And here's a little thing. When I'm wearing the costume, I cannot see out of it. So and my vision without glasses is terrible. So I had to be kind of sure about where I was standing. There was a different shot, a different take that I liked a lot better while wearing the costume, but me wearing the costume and not wearing the costume, I was standing in a slightly different spot, so it didn't match. So I used this take, and I had the electricity effect. Kind of wish it went a little longer and was a little bigger, but there's not really enough time. And I have the glowing, yeah, all that nice stuff. Now, one thing that makes it look fake is then I sort of disappear and the background replaces me. But literally, all I did was take a shot, when I got down from there, the camera was still rolling, so I just took the shot of the background by itself and just phased it in. So it does give the appearance that maybe I'm not really up there, maybe it's fake. But I thought it was kind of cool. Like, you know, you're kind of zooming through me and looking out at the city. I wanted that effect, and I like how it came out. This was me at Yoido, and I was really kind of skipping along, and there were business people, and nobody really cared. It was fun, it was amusing, and nobody really cared. Now, one thing, all I added was the light rays. It's a subtle glow, but what I like is the combination of blue and red, like it's focused right on the center there. So can I isolate that? Not really, no. So like I can change it to just white light, but right now it's projecting whatever light it's centered on. So it's half of the red and half of the blue. And I like what it adds, because without it, it just looks kind of like whatever. It's not bad, but it also directs more focus at me. I mean, people would be looking at me, but I feel like it brings the center, the composition, like the lightest point. Well, the lightest point's the background, but you know, the lightest point of objects in the frame is me. Same as before. One thing, so my mask, I cut a hole in there so I could breathe. And then I covered it up in every single shot. It's very subtle. I don't think anybody was like, oh, that mouth looks fake, because I could just kind of make it general gray and nobody would know the difference. And it looks better this way than seeing this garish, badly shaped hole. It would be kind of distracting. I thought it would be distracting.